I had to hurry up and produce a show that I could perform while pregnant, but had to play the show for long enough to make some money on it before I had to get off stage because I was too pregnant and it was time to have a baby. The Creative Spotlight with Emily Ulibarri, episode 15. You don't need more time to create more art. Scene 1, take 1, action. Hey there, creative souls. Welcome back to the Creative Spotlight. Today's video, hopefully, is short and sweet, as it should be, because it's about time. So, you may have heard of this concept before. Today, I want to talk about Parkinson's Law as it relates to your creative process. I want to read this so I get it right. Parkinson's Law is the observation that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. So this means however much time we allot for a project, we'll use it. So the project itself might expand in complexity or distraction or complication simply because we gave it time to. So as per usual, I would like to tell a story that exemplifies this lesson and then help you assimilate it into your own creative process and world. So, story time. So, if you've followed the channel before, then you've maybe heard some of the creation stories of some of the shows that we've created in our immersive theater. So, for instance, one of those shows, which I talked about just a couple episodes ago, if you want to hear that full creation story, is called I Haunt You. And really, truly, from concept to curtain, 10 years. It took so long. Now, that doesn't mean 10 active years working 40 hours a week all the time. It means 10 years because it was on the back burner a lot of the time. But it was on the back burner because I never really gave it a due date. I never gave the show a deadline. And so it just kind of went on forever and ever until I finally gave it a due date. And then the show came to being. The next show we produced right after we produced I Haunt You is called Silence in the Jungle. There's another great lesson from that story in a very recent episode that you can check out as well. That show took 3 months to produce. Wow, vastly different. 10 years versus 3 months. Now, the shows are about the same length, full-length 2-hour shows with an intermission. They are both equally complex, have a beautiful full-length soundscape, tons of costumes, all the bells and whistles, all the things that we do when we produce a Melon Light show. So why did one take 10 years and one took 3 months? I'll tell you why. Because that 10-year show, like I said, it never had a timeline on it. So what happened with a 3-month one? I was racing the clock, the biological clock. I was pregnant. And I had to hurry up and produce a show that I could perform while pregnant, but had to play the show for long enough to make some money on it before I had to get off stage because I was too pregnant and it was time to have a baby. I had a very tangible, real world deadline on that show. And the deadline meant a lot. And we produced the show in 3 months. And it was every bit as beautiful and impactful and enjoyable for our audiences as was I Haunt You, which took a really long time to produce. And that was such a great lesson with that show, having that very tangible, not just a I said it has to be done by kind of a date, but like baby says it has to be done by kind of a date. I couldn't wrestle with that timeline. It had to be done. So I'm not suggesting that you like get pregnant all the time to have very real world deadlines on your shows. But it was such a great lesson to be like, holy crap, I didn't know we could produce this level and quality of work in such a short timeline. But we can. And so it was very cool. So coming off of that, we've completely changed our timelines. Like we used to produce one show per year, maybe like every other year. And I don't know why, like, where did that timeline come from? Why did we think that was, the best timeline? Like, no regret, no harm, no foul, but we produce a lot more work now. And I don't feel like I'm burning myself out or I'm making us work insane hours. I actually feel really joyful because it's really fun to produce new shows. It's really fun to be able to pull all of these creative ideas out of the pool of creation and bring them to life. So I really enjoy producing more work. It's not like a work harder, grind yourself into the ground kind of a mentality. It's like how much fun that we get to produce so much. And the only thing that changed was we realized Parkinson's law is like a thing. It's a real thing. And so put a smaller timeline on things and you can accomplish more. And I guarantee you, we did not suffer like a lack of quality when we produced that shorter timeline show. It was every bit as quality work, every bit as beautiful and wonderful. Another great example, you may know that we do summer work with the opera in the Ozarks here, and their timelines are insane. They get 1 month of intense rehearsals and they produce 3, sometimes 4 operas. That's a lot. Now they are working very long full days. And we're there for, a smidget of that as we're just involved in kind of the dance and movement aspects of the shows. But holy crap. I mean, they produce 3 or 4 shows in a month. And that's because that's the parameter they set for themselves. And they do it, and all the shows are beautiful. Now, just the same, they could go, we have 1 month to produce 1 show. So what would change? Not the quality of the work, but probably the complexity. If they chose to just do 1 show in 1 month, they would probably do more or less elaborate costuming, more choreography, more dynamic blocking or things like that, right? Like it would still be a quality show. So we kind of trim the fat when we have a shorter timeline. Don't think that it's going to damage the quality of your show or your show. Maybe you're a painter. Maybe you're a musician or. So don't think that it's going to damage the quality of your work just because you shorten the timeline. What it's actually going to do is open up more hours for you to create the next project, to like move through a thing, enjoy it, do it, hooray, pat yourself on the back, have a champagne if you'd like, and move on to the next one. Now, I don't say this to present to you like a hustle culture and be like, do more, do it faster, work harder, stay up later. I actually don't really adhere to that. I think that self-care and time away from work, time doing other things that you love as a person, as part of your family or friend circle are very, very important. So I'm not suggesting you work yourself to the bone. And in fact, I know sometimes our creative processes are there to serve us, to remind us to slow down, to be like, wow, my world's really fast, but when I get out my paintbrush or my pen or whatever, I actually slow down and become very present. So I'm not telling you to rush through your work. I don't mean that. You should work at the pace that feels good to you. I just really love this idea. It was such a profound learning to be like, wow, I didn't know I could produce this quality of work in this short of timeline. It made me feel really up-leveled as an artist and gave me access to produce more, which I find to be really, really fun. And now, instead of producing like 1 show every other year, we're actually playing about 4 shows per year. So maybe that's 2 repeat shows, like maybe shows that are in their 2nd or 3rd season, and 2 brand new shows. So that is to say we're now producing like 2 new shows a year, plus reviving 2 other shows a year. That is a vastly different work timeline than 1 show every other year. And like I said, I'm not burnt out. I'm invigorated with an abundance of creative process available. So I encourage you to look at your allotments, look at your timelines, look at how it feels, like look inside. How does it feel, the level you're operating at? And just see what adjustments could be made. What if you said, hey, it won't take me 12 months to do this gallery showing, to finish every painting for the gallery showing. Maybe it'll take me 6 months, right? And does that feel better or does that feel rushed or stressed? And just play with it, right? It's creativity, it's creative work, and it should be playful by nature. So play around with your timelines, see how you can impress yourself and what you're capable of without creating burnout, but instead creating invigorated artistic processes that are ideal in both their efficiency and their quality and the joy that they bring you and those that you share your artwork with. So if you enjoyed today's episode, then please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Let's grow this community of creatives. And if you'd like to dive deeper into the creative pool, then please do check the link below and sign up to receive my weekly newsletter. I'd love to write letters to you. That's a wrap, my darling. Now go do your creative work.